Now I'm going to try something new for the channel. I'm thinking about making some short videos, little 60-second clips. Primarily they'll be of me fishing, but you know, there's a couple of reasons I want to do them. First off, people like short content and they can be just kind of fun to do. Now they're not going to replace the regular time videos. I want to keep trying to make 2 of those a week, but when I can mix in some shorts, I want to start doing that as well. And another reason I want to do some is that I'm going to be on the Catskills all next week. Heading up, staying at a campground on the beaver kill, actually on the river. I can look out my door and see the river. So I won't be doing any tying videos next week, but if all goes well, I might be able to publish some shorts because you kind of film a lot of them with your phone and edit them with your laptop and just upload them at the campsite. So that's the plan and we'll see how it works. But one other note, the last short I did, I was fishing a Smoky Mountain yellow palmer on the gunpowder and I had a pretty decent day with it. And I asked, said, hey, leave me a comment if you want me to tie this for a channel. And enough people did that that's what we're tying right now. Now this pattern, the one I use, I got from Roger Lowe's Fly Pattern Guide of the Great Smoky Mountains, which is a great little book. If you can get your hands on a copy, yeah, pick one up. It's not easy to find though. But this pattern is just a little yellow palmer. Sometimes you do an orange palmer. It's a very simple tie, but it's worked well for me pretty much everywhere I've fished it. And it's a pretty fun tie, definitely a fish catcher. I think y'all are gonna like it. So there it is in the vise, just a Smoky Mountain yellow palmer. Also tied in orange sometimes, then it's usually called an orange palmer. And I'll tie this, well this is a 14, I think this is what I was using on the river last weekend, but as big as a 12 and you know, sometimes down to 18s. And down to an 18, I would typically skip the tail. On this one, since it's 14, we'll go ahead and put the tail. So black thread, go ahead and catch it in, bring it back toward the bend. And the tail, according to the book, brown and grizzly, just hackle barbs, hackle fibers. So maybe a body length right here. And do you really need brown and grizzly? Maybe, I don't know. Sometimes I just do brown or grizzly. But you do want a little bit of a tail right there, and I've got a lot of fluff up front. Let's go ahead and snip this excess up here. And before we do our body, we're going to just catch in our dry fly hackle, a brown and grizzly feather. And they're pretty small. It's not really Catskill style. You kind of want it to maybe a hook gap, maybe just a little bit bigger, but not a whole lot bigger. And I don't spend a lot of time worrying about concave sides together or anything like that. I just catch them in and we'll see what they look like after we wrap them. Okay, go ahead and secure these and snip these stems here. And take your thread to the back, put some wax on it. And some pale yellow dubbing. This is a super fine, but anything you use for your dry flies would be fine. Probably you could use rabbit, because this thing is such a high floater, I don't think the body really ever gets down in the water. Except after a few fish. This thing, you know, it will get a little bit chewed up after a few fish and a little bit waterlogged. But other than that, I think it kind of just rides really high. And I got one tail barb right there that we're gonna probably have to snip before we're done. But go ahead and wrap it up just a little bit behind the eye. Okay, that's a little bit lumpy. And again, I got that one little barb right there. But I do usually wrap these one at a time. I don't know if it makes a difference, but probably about 3 wraps each. Okay, and for the brown, you can try to wrap them in between those if you want. I don't think it makes a big difference. You can kind of go right on top of them as well. Okay, now we got this excess right here, and just looking at this thing, you can tell this thing is a high floater. I mean, you can hang a dropper off of it. I don't typically, but you sure could. Now let's pull everything back and then make room for our whip finish. And while it is a dry fly, you don't have to be real cautious and keep a tiny head, because it's going to pretty much float anyway. But let's go ahead and finish this one. So there you go, drop a head cement, see if you got any cleanup. Yeah, probably got a little bit, but I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm putting this thing in my box. So that's it, my friends. I appreciate you watching. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.